Welcome everybody to the channel. And now in today's video, we are going to be reacting to Della Madalena's sparring compilation. As we all know, he will be fighting what's his name? Belal Muhammad this Saturday. And honestly, I am rooting for Della Madalena. Hopefully he does become champion. I really do feel like the UFC just needs somebody like Della Madalena to become champion, just to bring some life into the welterweight division. Let's go ahead and watch this sparring footage from Della Madalena. But before we do, all I ask for you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about Della Madalena's skills and whether or not he wins the title this Saturday. Let's go ahead and react to this sparring footage.
Sharp, sharp. Get sharp now. Don't worry about that. He can defend himself. Sharp. Sharp. That's what I want. Beautiful. Body.
Oh.
Good movement. Don't ever beat it. Hold your still.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good cheeky little body strike. Some dirty boxing. All right, some things off the rip here that I noticed. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to like throw inside kicks on Della Madalena or outside kicks. Very good. All right, some pad work from Della Madalena. He has some really good combinations in the boxing. The one thing that does concern me about him is that he has, I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad footwork, but he has some choppy footwork. Especially like for MMA, like stuff that you usually wouldn't get away with in MMA, in my opinion, like doing L steps and stuff like that. Is something that I don't know if it'll be too successfully consistent in MMA, especially whenever you're fighting somebody like Belal Muhammad, who his advantage of Belal Muhammad is the fact that he could just take your base, right? And if you're L stepping and you're off your base too much, you know, how long does it take you to reset? You know, it could be an issue for Della Madalena. That's probably the only thing that I do see that's like, oh wow, that's a little concerning. You know, it's just the fact that he makes a little bit of some questionable decision making on his footwork that I really wouldn't do, you know, if you're fighting somebody like Belal Muhammad. He does a really good job at keeping like a high guard. I know that that's a little bit of a complex concept to talk about, because a lot of people are just like, oh, you know, always have a high guard, which, you know, depending on the positioning could be advantageous, but it's always good to be defensively responsible. But not always, in my honest opinion. Sometimes you do want to follow up and be committed to offense 100% in order to just gain momentum. But being defensively responsible is really important too. Not the most crisp kicks in my opinion. Solid punching, solid striking. Not the best leg kicks, but that's not the forte of Della Madalena. That's not what got him to this point, right, in the UFC. That L step again. I don't know if I like that L step. This is something where, I think the questions need to be answered on whether or not Jack Della Maddalena can even defend himself on the grappling and wrestling department. Yeah, not the best kicks. Not the best kicks. Some good work, some good pad work here. Okay, so we do have some concerning stuff to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. Each and every single time we have, some footage about Jack Della Maddalena, it's always just on a focus on striking, which by itself could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. I mean, we don't know if Jack Della Maddalena is putting enough time where, he is practicing his wrestling and grappling. In my honest opinion, I feel like he does, right? He's a professional, right? He's gotten to this point in the UFC, being a well-rounded fighter. And then whenever he did fight Gilbert Burns, he did show some good decision making in the grappling and wrestling department. However, Bilal Muhammad is a completely different beast. I mean, what he managed to do against Leon Edwards, in my opinion, was really impressive. We did not expect Bilal Muhammad to mix up his striking and, wrestle against Leon Edwards the way that he did. I was really impressed with the way that Bilal Muhammad was able to come forward and pretty much pressure Leon Edwards into the fence to look for favorable positions to go for takedowns. Now, whether or not he's able to do that against someone like Jack Della Maddalena, in my opinion, is a different story. Jack Della Maddalena is a lot more aggro. He will stand on the 50-50 and trade and risk taking damage in order for him to land some damage himself. He is not the same type of fighter as Leon Edwards, which in my opinion, Leon Edwards, tries to fight a little bit prettier in the sense that he will try to land more damage without, necessarily trying to take any damage himself. Now, the one thing that I will say about Jack Della Maddalena is the fact that his forte obviously is the boxing. It is the striking department. I don't expect Jack Della Maddalena to try and look for any wrestling or grappling exchanges, but I do think that he could surprise Bilal Muhammad if he does. And I would really like to see him, try to look for grappling and wrestling engagements, because I think that if he just lands that one takedown against Bilal Muhammad could start second guessing himself, right? He could start, maybe thinking that, okay, I have to be careful in the way that I approach my grappling and wrestling because Jack Della Maddalena, is obviously a good wrestler. And if he can make Bilal Muhammad second guess himself just a little bit, I think that he could create momentum in the striking. I honestly really do believe that. But I am very excited for Jack Della Maddalena. Like I said, I really do think that having someone as champion, like Jack Della Maddalena, a 28-year-old super young fighter, I think that he could, pretty much give the welterweight division some much needed life. I mean, right now the welterweight division, in my opinion, is going in a incline. I think that they are going through a surge right now. The division's looking really, really good. I mean, there's also that possibility that Islam Makhachev goes to welterweight as well. I think that the entire division right now is going up, and Jack Della Maddalena becoming a champion at 28 years old could definitely become, a good, it could be a good thing for the UFC, and it could be a good thing for the weight division as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As we all know, Jack Della Maddalena has some good striking. I don't think that his forte necessarily is the wrestling and grappling like we went over in this video. But I do think that this is going to be a good fight. It's going to be a very entertaining fight. Jack Della Maddalena hasn't fought in a while. Is that ring rust going to be there? Is he prepared to fight a champion? I mean, getting a win over Gilbert Burns was a good win, but that was, my opinion, his only good win so far in the UFC. I mean, is he ready to fight someone like Belal Muhammad? I mean, we will see. Let me know your predictions down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. As always, is a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.